What is up, bros and broettes? I am Inkslasher, and welcome to another episode of Versus. This is a series where we compare two weapons head-to-head to see which one is better and to make you a better Call of Duty player. Today we are going in with the snipers. Today we are comparing the Paladin up against the Koshka. Basically the two heavyweight snipers in Black Ops 4. Now I gotta start off this video by saying, by no means am I a Pomage or a Sprat. I am not that great at sniping, so this will not be the best sniping gameplay you'll see. But throughout this video you will get to know all of the stats of these two snipers, and by the end of the video you'll actually know which one is better. Now recently, I can't remember whether it was last week or the week before, there was an update to the snipers and it changed the damage on the Koshka. So if the stats you've heard for the Koshka are different in this video than a previous video you saw, that is because they have been changed, and this video is as of right now the most up-to-date information on these two weapons. So before the video starts, I want you guys to let me know what personally your favorite sniper in Black Ops 4 is. I know not many people are going to say the Outlaw, but if that's your favorite, you can let me know too. But let me know between these two weapons which one you enjoy more, and I'm curious whether the stats line up with what you like or whether they're completely different. But without further ado, the stat that I always like to start with is damage. And I bet you guys that the damage on these two weapons is way different than you actually think. So let's start out with the Paladin. It's the most simple. To the lower body, you are going to deal 140 damage, and that basically goes up until when your hands cross your stomach on your character. So as you can see right here where the hands cross each other holding the weapon, that is when you are going to move into the upper body. Now for the Paladin, to the upper body or to the head or to the arms, you are going to deal 150 plus damage. So anywhere above those arms is going to be a one bullet kill. Now what may surprise you is the damage profile for the Koshka is actually exactly the same. You are going to deal 140 damage to the lower body and 150 plus to the upper body. So once again, where the arms cross the stomach, that is where that switches from the lower to upper body. And you may be thinking, whoa, everyone knows the Paladin does more damage, and technically you are correct, but most of the time it doesn't matter. The situations where it does matter is, one, if your enemy is wearing body armor, the Paladin is still going to be a one bullet kill to the upper body, whereas the Koshka will not be a one bullet kill to the upper body. Similarly, if you are shooting through surfaces, that's another area where you will notice a difference between the two. So as far as these two weapons go, normally the damage profile is the same, where the upper body is a one bullet kill and the lower body is 140 damage. However, the Paladin does deal a little bit more damage, so if your enemy is wearing body armor, the damage on the Paladin is better, so therefore it gets the win in this category. Once again, as far as range goes, these weapons are once again exactly the same. They don't have a damage drop off, so it's always going to be 140 damage to the lower body, 150 plus to the upper body at any single range in multiplayer. So after this, we have a rate of fire, and as far as rate of fire goes, this was actually way closer than I thought it was going to be. The rate of fire for the Paladin is 44 RPM, whereas the Koshka is 49 RPM, so only 5 RPM faster, but still a little bit better for the Koshka. Now after this, we have magazine size, and this one's pretty simple. Basically, the Koshka has a 6-round magazine and a total of 3 magazines, whereas the Paladin has a 5-round magazine and 3 total magazines. So the Koshka has 1 extra bullet, so for that, it gets the win. Now after this, we move into reload speed, and this one really wasn't a surprise to me. The reload speed on the Paladin is 2.336 seconds, whereas the reload speed on the Koshka is 1.969 seconds. So a little bit faster for the Koshka, and for that, it gets another point. So this leaves us with 2 more stats: aim down sights time and sprint out time. And for the most part, when you're comparing 2 weapons of the same class, these 2 stats are exactly the same, and that is no different with the 2 snipers. So for the aim down sights time for both weapons, you are looking at 0.35 seconds, which is quite a long aim down sights time, but makes sense for a sniper rifle. But the sprint out times are actually relatively quick. In fact, they're quicker than all of the assault rifles at 0.184 seconds. So a fast sprint out time, long aim down sights time. So now as far as the scores go here, the Paladin has 2 points, whereas the Koshka has 4. And personally, when I looked at these, I was shocked, because going into this, I thought the Paladin was going to have this one in the bag, but as it turns out, it absolutely does not. And when I really go in and look at the stats, there is a very clear reason as to why the Paladin is worse than the the Koshka, and it all comes down to what happened in the previous patch. So what this really comes down to me is how similar the damage profiles are for these two weapons. And before the previous patch, the Paladin did way more damage than the Koshka. After the most recent patch, they are almost identical. As I mentioned earlier, the only situation where the Paladin has a leg up on damage to the Koshka is when the enemy is wearing body armor. And the fix for that is pretty easy. Just use FMJ on the Koshka. And as soon as you use FMJ, these weapons' damage profiles are basically identical, which means every other stat is better on the Koshka, and therefore it's simply a much better weapon now. Previous to this, the Paladin did more damage, which means it was a more consistent one-hit kill, which I think made a lot of people use it more and think it was better. But now, you can have a weapon that reloads faster, has more bullets in a magazine, and has the same damage profile, so you might as well just use the Koshka. Just make sure you have FMJ on whatever your class setup is. Now, another big difference between these two weapons is once again another attachment. The Koshka, you can use Quick Draw, whereas the Paladin, you cannot. Now, what does Quick Draw do? It makes you aim down sights faster. So this is obviously an incredibly important attachment when using a sniper rifle. So once again, just another piece of information that makes the Koshka a little bit better. The one difference, though, is with the Paladin, another attachment you can use is called the Stabilizer 1 and Stabilizer 2. What does that do? Essentially, it decreases your idle sway and makes it easier to aim. Personally, it's a great attachment, but personally, I do prefer the Quick Draw over the Stabilizer. So all of these bits of information put together, my final decision is that the Koshka is now the better sniper rifle. Generally speaking, I tend to go with the sniper rifle that's going to be more consistently a one-hit kill, but in the only case that the Paladin actually has this is when you are shooting someone with body armor. And like I said, that is easily fixed by FMJ. So guys, my question for you is, what do you think of this? What sniper do you prefer? Is it the Paladin? Is it the Koshka? And then what do you think of the stats that we looked today? Did they surprise you? Because honestly, they shocked me. I didn't realize that that last patch that gave the Koshka the damage buff actually made that big of a difference between these two sniper rifles, because really, it's a world of difference. So then the last thing I wanted to do for you guys is to rank the various sniper rifles in order from best to worst, just to give you guys a general idea of which sniper rifles you should use and which ones you should avoid. So first of all, if you're playing regular core game modes, not hardcore, the order is going to go Koshka, then Paladin, then the SDM, and finally the Outlaw. The reason for this order is because, first of all, as we mentioned, the Koshka is better than the Paladin, and the Koshka and Paladin are going to be your one-hit sniper rifles. The reason why those are so important when using a sniper rifle is because the time to kill is essentially 0. As soon as you pull that trigger and hit them with one bullet, they will be dead. Whereas when using the SDM or the Outlaw, you're gonna have to get a 2-bullet kill unless the Outlaw hits a headshot, which means the time to kill is simply going to be longer, and it kind of eliminates the point of using a sniper rifle in regular core. Now, the reason why I prefer the SDM over the Outlaw is simply it's got a faster fire rate, and because of that, it can be just a little bit more reliable. Now, moving on to hardcore. If you're a hardcore player, what are the best sniper rifles? The easiest way to look at this is the faster the rate of fire for the sniper rifles, the better they will be, because all of these weapons are going to be a one-shot kill. So the order is going to go SDM, Outlaw, Koshka, Paladin. So a little bit different between hardcore and core there, but those are the order of the sniper rifles from best to worst in both game modes. However, if you disagree with me, feel free to let me know what your favorite sniper rifles are down in the comments. Do you like the Outlaw better than the SDM? Do you like the Koshka better than the Paladin? Feel free to let me know, because I'm really curious to hear what you guys are going to have to say. Because before I made this video, the Paladin was my favorite sniper rifle. After I got the gameplay for this video and really looked at the stats, I realized that the Koshka is really probably a better sniper rifle. But like I said, if you disagree, feel free to let me know down in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that like button. And if you want to stay up to date on all of my videos, the best way to do so is make sure you hit that subscribe button and have notifications turned on. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard.